There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.
All right, bros, we're live and we're back at it. We're on fucking Periscope again. We got Twitter working. I think we're on Facebook, D Live. We're back at it. It's like the first time in a long time I've got to stream on Twitter. So shout out to everybody watching on Periscope. You guys are the fucking bros. Don't forget to retweet this shit. I appreciate you. Today I'm with my bro. I'll let him introduce himself. You'll get to know who this guy is. Let people know who you are, how you got into crypto, and how that led you to what you're doing now in this space with art and non-fungibles.
All right. And thank you, man, for having me here. And thanks everyone that is watching. Well, I was involved in Bitcoin. I was living in Barcelona 6 years ago, kind of.
I've been there. It's a beautiful place, man.
Oh, it's so beautiful, man. I actually went there to study a master's degree, and I stayed 10 years.
I could say I went there for a cruise. I was there for 7 days. I never wanted to leave, so I could see how that could happen very easily in Barcelona.
Very easily. The first time I was there, I was like 22 years old, and I just loved it. I remember thinking, if I ever have the chance to live in this city, I would try to do my best to make that happen. And then like 5-6 years later, I got accepted in this postgrad program.
Respect.
And yeah, I didn't give it a second thought. I just grabbed my bags and moved there, and I spent 10 years living there. Right?
Beautiful.
So I was there. I was living there. There was a big Bitcoin move happening there. I was a bit late. I mean, there some of the very early adopters were living in Barcelona. I wasn't there at the very, very beginning. But then I started getting involved with the community little by little. And but what really made my big jump into trying to work more actively in the ecosystem was when I finally got the idea of crypto collectibles or scarce digital content outside of the monetary policy of Bitcoin. Right. And that happened to me in a meetup in Toronto back in 2016 when a guy showed me the Rare Pepe directory. And it was very impressive for me to see that in an organic way, people were just monetizing their memes.
Yeah, and Canada was really big on non-fungible art very early. You know, CryptoKitties, I believe, was launched out of Vancouver, and Toronto is a great place in 2016 to be at the beginning of the NFT, development.
Yeah, exactly. It was very early. Actually, yesterday I was checking the date. I think that the first certified card, certified by the scientists, but the first Rare Pepe card, it was at some time in September 2016, and my first submission was in October. So I was this guy Antoine. It's a Ethereum developer that lives in Toronto, and also gives some lectures on computer science at York University. It's like we become friends now, and yeah, we were just talking about Bitcoin, and at some point we start talking about art. I don't remember why. I've always been an illustrator since I am since very young. And he just mentioned that and showed me the directory, and we just started laughing. And I submitted a card a month later, and I immediately saw that this was going to have an impact in art in general. And yeah, that's what happened. A year later, in December 2017, CryptoKitties just jammed the Ethereum blockchain.
Rightfully so. I mean, there were, the excitement, the FOMO was justified. There was something so new, that nuance of, the utility behind it was, it was just kind of user friendly, a way to experiment with what Ethereum could really provide to very high end Fortune 500 companies with a very simple demonstration of cats breeding on the blockchain. It was such a hilarious proof of concept that had so much more like evident to it, but it looked just, like two cats fucking on the blockchain. And it was just like, there's so much more to this, but the ability to be some of the first people to really experiment with the real use case of this, it was historical. And I got to play around. I bred some kitties, and I'm just curious, like, you mentioned that you got to submit a proposal for your art into the Pepe collection. What was it like to tokenize a piece of your art for the first time? As an artist maybe listening to this that has no idea how that process is, it may sound like rocket science when it's probably as easy as Dropbox or Google Photos or some other form of, Fiverr selling your art. Maybe explain to people that are listening that aren't sure how that process is for somebody who's first time submitting a proposal. Because I try to tell people this all the time. You don't have to buy crypto. You can earn it. And you can earn it as an artist through the proposal systems for different projects.
Yes, exactly. You're entirely right. That's also my most common advice to newcomers is whatever you do, try to do some for crypto. Just ask to be paid in crypto. And the crypto artists that are onboarding this year, which I think 2020 is going to be an iconic year for crypto art in general. All the people that are coming now, that's my biggest advice. Just sell your art for crypto, and you'll find out the rest later. So I believe that like the main difference between just interacting with a regular interface, like let's say Google Drive, and making a proposal to a platform to upload your art, it's basically the technical or conceptual barrier about understanding Bitcoin. I'm sure that if back in 2016 I wasn't involved in Bitcoin already and trying to and buying Bitcoin and like trying to get to know the technology more and all, it would have been a little bit harder for me to understand the real value of what was happening.
So there is kind of a chicken and egg scenario where people may need to be on-ramped into the space before they start developing in the space. So they may not build here before they learn about it.
But now it's changing because people are seeing big names or regular artists getting a lot of money from crypto, and that's the biggest incentive. Like they are going to try to learn how to do it because for some people this is having the incentives backwards, but at the same time I think it's part of the strategy of Bitcoin for being successful. It's a monetary system at the end of the day, so people should be attracted just for increasing their or for using a better money. So back in the day, so back to your question, back in 2016, in order for your design to be on the Rare Pepe directory, a group of scientists needed to approve it. So basically, they were just filtering out like porn or propaganda. You weren't allowed to put links in the design, stuff like that. But out of that, it was pretty open. So everyone can go to rarepepedirectory.com, and there are all the 30-something series that happened in about a year and a half, starting in September 2016, and it was just people having fun. But the way it grew, I remember the market cap of Pepe Cash, which was the currency to exchange the different rare Pepe cards, just grew. Grew like crazy. I don't know, $80 million market cap in a few months.
That's what I liked about Pepe was they were real like crypto enthusiasts as far as like the team went, because they actually developed a currency to have utility with their collectibles, and that was very early. We're starting to see a lot of that happen now. If you guys follow like Marguerite, coin artist, she has coin, and if you stake it on Uniswap, you can provide liquidity there, and then you can stake that Unity to, I don't know, whatever, and then you could farm NFTs. It's starting to become a bigger topic of conversation, especially like you said, with the bigger artists like deadmau5 now launching NFTs, and average artists like Ferocious, who's like 17 or something and making tens of thousands of dollars per art. When I was in Miami, where we got to hang out at BitBasil, shout out to BitBasil, that was a lot of fun. It was awesome to meet you IRL and hang out, and I got the art you gave me right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was showing my brother the other day how it comes to life, and I want to get into that in a little bit. Actually, yeah, let's get into that, because like that's some of the next level stuff too, is like these prints are starting to come to a digital sense, where I could take my phone out, look at a physical piece of art, and have a digital version of it, like, come to life, and I could own that. Or maybe there's different filters, and the one that I own is the one that's displayed when I scan it. Or if I have multiples, maybe I could swipe them and play around. And I'm just curious, since you got to do something like this, what was that experience like, and where can you see this going farther into the future with the adoption of this kind of technology?
What I definitely realized, I think maybe last year, is the importance of what people are calling XR, extreme reality, which is like the mix of virtual, what we call virtual reality and augmented reality, and I don't know what else. But basically is virtual and augmented reality at some point are going to be kind of indistinguishable.
Augmented's my favorite. I love it.
Me too. I believe everything is going to be augmented,
Same.
right? Like the same way that everything nowadays is on the internet or on Wikipedia, like whatever. If you're looking at this cup and you have some device to augment, to see augmented reality in the regular objects around you, and you have these technologies of object recognition, so everything is going to be augmented.
Yep.
Man. Like I think virtual and augmented are going to merge into our new reality.
Have you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of the episode where the little girl grows up, and the mom, she can like filter what the kid can see, so she never like gets to hear a dog bark. She never gets to see like pornography when her friends sneak it into school and high school and stuff, and she grows up in this world where she's like always blocked and muted things in reality. And I'm thinking, this mixed reality, augmented reality could do very similar things, where like if I don't want to see a specific image, say I don't like McDonald's, every time I see a McDonald's logo with that filter on, it could just say like a giant, right, just a big black, a black censor bar. Exactly. I could start to censor my reality with this as well as augment it, which is kind of insane. When I was in Miami, dude, there is literally no shortage of art. Like, art might be in a bubble. Like, it was flowing from the walls onto the sidewalks into the street. And I'm like, there's nowhere else for them to put their art. It has to end up on the blockchain. Oh, wait, we lost your audio. Give me 1 second. I don't know why that happened, chat. Give me 1 second. Thanks for the heads up. It might be these stupid new headphones I got. Yeah, hold on. All right, we got your audio back. Sorry about that.
Okay, cool. I was saying that Miami, I think this year was way better. I went 2 years ago, to Art Basel, also to talk in a panel about crypto art. And it looked like Disneyland, like it was so packed with people and everything was full and exaggerated and the art was not that good. On the other hand, this year was really nice because it was calm and the real, I believe that the real art was there. I saw some amazing stuff on the streets, but also now everyone's talking about NFTs. And this is what we saw it coming for 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we realized that this was going to impact all different areas. Like, I believe CryptoKitties is more like a game, right? Like, I know people associate it more with crypto art because it was something that boosted the move of like the platforms that we were creating at the time, focusing on art. CryptoKitties just made it easier for everyone to understand what the art platform.
Well, yeah, they gamified art.
Yeah, and I think it's an excellent game, CryptoKitties. It's simple, is like it's perfect.
You know what's like the next step that isn't simple but very similar on the same path? When I could take one of your pictures, like the one right here from Crypto Twerps, and I could take one from Johnny Dollar that I have right here, and I could use an AI blockchain to make a breed out of those two NFT art. So I could have, some kind of hybrid of you and Johnny Dollar art from breeding these two pieces through like some kind of AI.
There's a lot of experiments now. Like there are platforms in where artists make layers. So each different artist creates a different layer. So at the end you can distribute.
That's my favorite. It's so great.
It's I mean, one of the things that keeps me this excited about the ecosystem is just to think that I'm going to be witnessing new forms of art, new forms of social organization and consensus algorithms that are going to interplay in creating things that we can't imagine right now. And this is going to happen in 5 years. I believe in 10 years from now, this is going to be so obvious for a big amount of the population. Just talking about augmented reality a little bit, I believe that those technologies and blockchain get along really good. I think a lot of people understood this like a year ago. And this year, because of the lockdown, so many art shows moved into VR. And I think that just proved what a lot of people were already being intuitive about, that it's just a perfect mix.
Well, it needed it. I mean, could you imagine building AR and VR technology on centralized databases that aren't immutable, where I could and I'm sure it's probably possible with a lot of the applications that artists like yourself are using to make art come to life today. When I do take out my phone and open that app, if I was a good enough hacker, I could replace all that cool art with dick pics and Pornhub. I mean, it's not immutable. It is censorable. And imagine if those applications decide that they don't like Crypto Twerps and they take away my art and now I can't even see it because they censored it. And I think that it's an inevitable partnership because of the amount of effort people are going to put into building these virtual worlds. They're going to want that level of security and that level of ownership. I know Jerome from I don't know if he's from there anymore. I don't know. It's Blockchain Universe. There you go. He uses AltSpace and he builds virtual worlds. But I mentioned to him the other day, I'm like, this is, I know it hasn't happened yet, but what if one day AltSpace doesn't like, blockchain events and crypto events, like YouTube decided they don't like it and they just completely erase and ban everybody. And now that all that energy you spent building your virtual world on that platform is gone. That's why I love Crypto Voxels and Decentraland. And, these are just obvious partnership when it comes to technology pairing.
Yeah, most people still don't get that all that effort, as you said, that they're putting into building their social media platforms might be gone in a minute. and you don't own anything. If you have one of those big accounts on Instagram with millions of followers, you don't own anything there. You're working for Instagram, and Instagram is deciding how much they want to pay you or not, right? And when you introduce NFTs, these are valuable objects in the metaverse. Despite what the admins of the platform want for you to do or not. So that's super powerful, because if we didn't have blockchain, if we didn't have Bitcoin, the moment that we inhabit the cyberspace, the metaverse, which is apparently happening and apparently is not going to stop.
No.
So we're just going to build more and inhabit more the metaverse. And once we are there, and let's say all of this conversation is happening in a virtual reality room, the admins of the platform are effectively the perfect dictators. They can do whatever they want with us and with our content and with the objects of value that we are exchanging.
Has there been artists that have had these issues exploited, where people that have, that create art have been deplatformed because of their art being too political or not, terms and service approved? I'm just curious, like, if anybody that you've known has lost their Facebook page as an artist because Facebook just didn't like their art. Because I've seen it happen to people on Instagram where they do a lot of meme art, and it sometimes runs into the political meme side, and Instagram starting to flag it as fake news art and banned them from Instagram recently.
And it's always political. It's always I remember there was an Instagram account here from some guys here in Mexico, just memes. It was called Trip Densos, so it means like hardcore trips or something. And so
my kind of guys.
It's super funny account, but they kind of messed up with a big influencer that apparently have more influence on Instagram than they, and they just shut their account down. They already uploaded a different one. It's like playing always like the cat and the mouse. But yeah, still it's always political. It doesn't matter what your content is, and this is what Julian Assange has been saying for years. It doesn't, if you feel that you're safe from that because you are not politically oriented, you're wrong. I mean, it doesn't matter if you get across the wrong person. It doesn't matter what are your ideas. You might get the platform because that's something that, because it's always political, like the admins of the platforms. And something that's very interesting that is happening now, because we can avoid those intermediaries, those middlemen now, there's a real discussion on what should be the role of curators and admins of these platforms, because we can definitely now interact peer-to-peer. So, and also at the same time, people tend to gravitate toward platforms that are kind of, there's some sort of board or admins that can control content, because completely open platforms are also a target for a lot of very toxic content. And it's not that I care, but definitely if let's say you're an artist and you want your art to look nice, and there's just some guy, a random guy uploading child pornography,
right,
you might not want to put your content there. So definitely there's definitely room for some sort of moderation. And what that role should be, it's an interesting conversation that is happening in the platform, because now we don't necessarily need them. And the people from Dada, from the platform of Dada, are trying to put this conversation forward. And also in Miami, I was in a pre-recorded panel with Beatriz from Dada and Jason Bailey.
I've met the Dada team in New York City at a conference for art once, and I didn't know, I wasn't a big art person. I didn't know how long they have been in the game and how long that they have kept evolving to keep up with the relevant relevant times, which is really cool. So if you have a chance, guys, definitely check them out. What's funny is this isn't the first time we've seen art become purged. It's happening now virtually, but that's because art has gone digital, and art has always kind of been a political tool to kind of express how the people feel. And before it was digital, it was physical. And we would see the leaders of the time burn political art, that they would deem propaganda or against their agenda. And it would just be banned that way, right? They would just be censored through the fires of, burning down, museums. And just the art was gone, our history completely deleted. Now they can't do this. When people look back 100 years from now, they may not be able to see physical art that was destroyed through censorship, but they'll be able to go to the blockchain and see art that is immortalized, and our history finally, without subject to censorship, be written by the people, not just by the winners.
Yeah, and I think we're still not there. We're still building that reality. But the idea is so powerful that definitely, there's no way back. Actually, the first evidence that I know about the idea of crypto collectibles, which nowadays people call NFTs. I think there's a post of Hal Finney in the early 90s talking about cryptographic trading cards or something like that. So basically he was describing what happened with Rare Pepe and Spell of Genesis and all the crypto twerps. So there is collectible cards that people are exchanging, like the physical ones that we've been doing it for since forever.
I love it.
But now digital. The same idea in digital. And there's still a lot of challenges because the content, the file, the art itself, in most cases is not in the blockchain.
I respect the fuck out of you saying that. Please let people know a little bit more about what that means, because that as somebody who knows, that scares me, because I'm selling NFTs that are kind of censorable because the file's being hosted on a site that I have no power over. It's not on a blockchain. We need shit like Filecoin, homies. Please, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're right. These are issues that started from the very beginning. It's funny because now the space is growing so much and we are seeing all this variety of platforms, but all of that or most of that happened already in a micro scale back at the beginning of 2017 with the first tokens that we were exchanging in Counterparty. Counterparty is like a smart contract on Bitcoin that kind of works a little bit like Ethereum, but just limited to issuing tokens and exchanging those tokens. And so we saw different platforms. We saw we saw how these issues could how we were not sure how to solve these issues of where to store the image, how to link the token to the image. All of that conversation started there, and it's still going. I think it hasn't been entirely solved because there's the blockchain, right? This is a network. This is a one layer, and the tokens are created in this layer. Not in the case of Bitcoin, because Counterparty was another layer on Bitcoin. So there are two layers already. And then you need to store the image in another network, let's say IPFS. So you need another network. And then the platform that is showing you. So you depend on a lot of networks. I think that very soon we are going to see standards or good practices in how to create a collectible, link it to an image or a digifile, whatever it is, in an undisputable way, in a way that everyone can verify and can be modified. And I think we will see this more and more and more. We are not we are still not there, but it's happening because the idea is very powerful to create these objects of value on the internet that no one can confiscate from you. So it's super powerful, and we are going to see just more development in that direction. But it's true, right now, nowadays, you sometimes need 2 or 3 different networks to have your NFT nicely displayed.
What you're describing is basically a house of cards on top of a Matryoshka doll.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I am 100% invested in this ecosystem right now, in this idea, but I definitely realize that there are big issues that might make the whole building crumble.
Yeah, it is the thing. I mean, I've said this kind of from the beginning when I got into crypto in like 2015. People were telling me how how undisruptable it is, right? Like nothing can really fuck with Bitcoin. It's unhackable, it's uncensored. I'm like, but doesn't it like need the internet? Without like the internet, like wouldn't this be a bigger issue if like our internet service providers all said, you know what, this Bitcoin transaction, we don't accept the input and we won't put out the output. Now, how are you? I mean, yeah, we could all run VPNs or something, but like good luck getting mass adoption when the internet service providers tell you that this isn't something that they allow on their network. And now, it's like, well, and then the electric companies, imagine if they say they don't want to supply electricity to the miners. There's a lot of these things that we need to, and the incentive to disrupt and decentralize more and more and more is there. The incentive is the snowball effect. The more liquidity that comes into the space is the motivation to keep building infrastructure to ensure that this industry keeps thriving. So it's not at that too big to fail yet stage, but it's getting there, and that is inevitable. It's the only thing I'm curious that, like, as far as like an artist like yourself goes, where do you see the liquidity kind of going through the next year? Do you think that there may be a bull run and a rush of artists creating art with a lack of buyers, or do you think that there may be an interest of buyers that may outweigh the market creators?
Well, I've heard from people that know way more than I about art and the history of art that there's always more artists than collectors. And it makes sense because for most people, everyone is an artist, right? Like we are all artists. Most people define artists as being just creative and open and trying to be creative and create something to have some reward, personal reward for you, or to give something to your community and so on. So if everyone can be an artist, definitely not everyone can be a collector, because collectors are kind of like, I don't know, you at least you need money to be a collector. I don't know.
You don't need money to be an artist, that's for sure.
That's for sure. So definitely collectors collectors are a smaller group than artists. That's what I mean. So I see this space that is just going to grow. I think it's going to keep on growing the next year, because I believe 2020 is going to be just a steady growing bull run. That's my prediction. I mean, obviously no one knows, but I think it's much likely we're going to see a bull run through all 2021. So I believe that crypto art this year had an awesome year. It just grew enormously, and next year is going to keep on growing. So a lot of artists, more and more artists are going to be on board, and not as much collectors, but I think there are going to be enough for the space to grow. Now, when we get the next bear market, it's going to shrink again, but we already saw that back in 2017. 2017 was a bull market through the whole year, and then 2018, crypto winter lasted like a year and a half, maybe, I don't know, and the platform just kept on working. Of course, a lot of projects died in that period of time, but the idea didn't die. We just built, like builders kept on building, and now we're seeing in 2020 a way bigger group of people coming and people realizing the value. So I think it's just going to grow, and more artists and more collectors are going to come. I don't see a disbalance. Maybe, I mean, there's always a small percentage of the people that benefits the most, and this is creating some sort of people don't like it, right? Like, but I think that this happens everywhere. We might with the consensus protocols that we are programming, I think we can create more fair systems of exchange.
Yeah, with more adoption comes more balance. You know, it's harder to have diseven tides. And I think we're going to see waves of disbalance. I don't think it'll have a very balanced adoption for a long time, probably 5-10 years. We'll see waves of adoption where deadmau5 is about to launch NFTs, right, on Wax, which is a hell of a lot different than launching an Ethereum NFT, which the on-ramping process to purchase an NFT on an Ethereum platform it's a higher level than the Wax, right? You just log in with Google, boom, done, you're in. I think that this is going to create a wave of adoption where, there's only a limited amount of those collectibles available for his audience. He has millions of followers, as an artist. And he's a musical artist as well as, illustratory artist. And bringing that into the space and all of those people's eyes and interest in, I think we're going to see a wave of interest of consumers, actually, because the people that are going to distribute their art and NFTs from the deadmau5s, very limited edition stuff, right? They're going to have a lot of scarcity in these non-fungible collectibles, and that's going to leave a lot of their audience with a hole in their pocket going, I need to fill it with some other non-fungibles. So I think that we're going to see waves occur, not so much of a rising balance, but a wave of okay, once deadmau5 does this and all people come in, blah, 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 then, he may bring in the wave of buyers. Those wave of buyers will incentivize another wave of issuers, of influencers and promoter and people that will produce, and then another wave will come in and another wave, and it'll just be a back and forth until eventually that mass adoption phase occurs and it will balance out through the numbers.
Yeah, and that mass adoption, I don't think is that far from now. I mean, we just need a way for people to use this technology without having to change the way they perceive digital objects, which is the problem right now. It's very hard for us to imagine a digital object that is scarce. And you need to be able to manage a crypto wallet. So there are a few barriers, but this is, and one important thing is that art is just one use case, and I believe it might not even be the most important or exciting.
No, dude, it's totally like Pong. It's such a proof of concept beta use case. It's the cutest thing you can do, but it's probably not going to be the most extreme as far as disruptive and world changing, but it leads to that through proof of example. You have a catalyst now that other people can look at and go, well, if he can do this with a fucking iPad and a stencil, why can't we do this with one of our legal contracts or one of our property deed titles or X, Y, and Z? And now we're going to start seeing more utility. That's what I think a lot of the legacy infrastructure has been waiting for, is not so much the doability of issuing and minting, but the utility, the APIs and the smart contracts that will actually engage with those minted pieces of art or those non-fungible tokens. And that's the key that we've been missing. And we're starting.
I mean, it's just an endless list of things that you can use with a thing like an NFT on the internet. So we are just, it's funny because the artists are always the ones that are just experimenting as freely as possible. They are just playing with stuff and trying to disrupt and create new ideas. So it's interesting and for me that they were the ones who started pushing how far you can go with the idea of a scarce digital object. But this is going to go mainstream. Everyone's going to use NFTs instead of regular digital coupons or stuff that doesn't have any value outside of the platform that are issuing.
Yep, exactly. I wanted to see if you could kind of maybe, if you didn't mind, talking about some of the nefarious use cases of this, right? Because we've started to see a lot of it happen recently, where an artist will create something on Rarible, and somebody will copy it and clone it and start promoting their scam shop, essentially selling counterfeit, non-fungible art. Is this something that you could see being sort of like detrimental to adoption, or is this something that you think may actually increase adoption?
Yeah, I think it's something inevitable, and I don't see it as a big problem because from the very beginning, there were always groups of people that just for fun, they were trying to disrupt the platforms, like doing whatever they could to just create trouble. And those actors are necessary to debug the system. So people that are copying the image and just reselling it with their name on it, this is happening. I have friends that have done this several times just for fun, and they have pissed off like big names in the crypto art. They've been banned from platforms, but that also gives the right place for the curators. Sorry.
Yeah, words are hard.
It's kind of necessary, right? Like if you want to be in a platform that is safe, because people, like so many people nowadays, they need to feel they are operating in environments that they control the rules or they understand the rules. So we definitely need admins that set some rules and say, okay, in this platform, this is allowed and this is not allowed, and those are the rules.
I think those admins are us, and that's why I'm really big on Mintable and what they're doing with their NFT DAO. Is the issuers should be the admins. They should be the curators, right? Or even the users of the platform, right? It should be, and how I've always kind of pictured like OpenSea and Rarible going, especially Rarible, since they came out with Rari. I immediately thought, well, they're going to use this token to DAO out. They're going to make a DAO for Rarible. It makes sense, and it never really came. They never really gave that extra utility to their token.
But they might.
They might, and it is possible, but it is sure a great reason to do it is to give more power to the community by becoming a DAO platform.
True, that's true. Like I think DAOs are going to take over the main social structures to organize like big businesses and all. Like I think that the future of big corps, and this might be dystopian too, like at least to some degree, the way that big social structures are going to work is going to be through DAOs, because it just makes more sense. Everyone is invested. Everyone could be stakeholders by using the currency. Everyone's got a vote. I mean, but you can make different levels of engagement. Like it just makes sense.
And you know why they're going to really want to adopt this? Because everything you mentioned, plus the distribution of accountability. So when a corporation or entity does something a little fucked up, it's not going to fall on the president, the CEO. It's going to fall on the DAO. And the DAO isn't suable. Who's going to show up to court when the DAO is responsible for voting in something that maybe was illegal?
Yeah, and also the people that are involved, they could be anonymous. It's a free association system that you can just leave. If they are becoming dictatorial, you can just move to the next one. And so, yeah, I think DAOs are definitely a very powerful idea that it's going to change the way we organize on the internet. So all these platforms, as you were saying, like Rarible, the next Rarible is likely that they are going to incorporate some sort of DAO. And right now we are seeing all the experimentation of that. I'm seeing a lot of people trying to build projects that are controlled by a DAO instead of just like a regular management structure.
Yep.
because it's more powerful, as you said, because it's you could make it more transparent and so on. You could also make it less transparent.
Yeah, that is true, actually. With privacy-based blockchains and in use cases, you're right. And there's a lot of reason for that, too. When it comes to corporations wanting privacy, some companies may not be able to progress technologically because innovation is illegal, and they may be able to obfuscate some of that through private innovation, which some businesses have done, and eventually they make it public and it's accepted. But it's a lot harder to innovate in a world where it's, you know, kind of become like, you know, demonized. Like right here in the US, it's hard to start a blockchain business. Everyone's going to the fucking Cayman Islands and leaving America because of this. And, you know, I'm just pointing it out there. There's necessity for privacy outside of nefarious use case.
Did you ever read this the book The Sovereign Individual?
I don't read books. I listen to them, so I'll have to get the audio book.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find the audio
book.
book.
Oh, for sure, dude. There's always there's an audio book for everything, and I fucking love it.
That's good, and we're gonna have for really everything, because like now the computer can read. So
I was one of the first people in like 2010, bro, that when I figured out that I could have the Chrome read the article to me. When I got into Bitcoin, that was like one of the first things I did was I would just highlight the article on Cointelegraph and I would have my phone read text to speech the entire article while I worked.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. The robot now is talking to you. Like the robot is educating you.
Yes, I'm being programmed by a program.
Yeah, man, no, that's crazy. We are going to witness the singularity. I think we are witnessing it. Like we are seeing the big leap into the unknown, and that's exciting. That's very exciting. That's frightening, like for obvious reasons, but that's very exciting. And I'm super happy that I'm here, like witnessing this.
I wanted to ask you, there are artists out there like, you know, Coin Artist and Vested that have created their own currencies.
That's Coin Artist over there.
Right there. All right.
Yeah, that's a print. And she gave it to me back in 2017 when she was here in Mexico City. We made a crypto party, or crypto art party. I think it was, I'm sure it was the first one in Mexico at least. And she was here with Crypto Graffiti. They were traveling in Mexico. They came to the party and they brought some prints, and I have that one. That was a puzzle. That's an interesting one. Maybe we should have.
She has a lot of really I don't know how to explain it. I guess interactive art.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, she's an OG, and she's been working hard on the gaming aspect of NFTs.
Well, talking about gaming and them, I wanted to see, are you planning on releasing your own currency to utilize to trade for your art? Because a lot of artists are starting to do this, and I was waiting for this you know, personal tokens or individual tokenization, where you know, I thought it may have started with like the adult industry with like, you know, the girls with like OnlyFans making their own coin and accepting it, whatever. But same difference. Artists are doing this. Is this something that you could see yourself doing, where you could create your own money and accept your own money for your own goods and services?
I mean, sure, that's a possibility. Actually, we made our own token with our first platform. It's called artolin.org, which was like, I think it was the first art market on the blockchain. It was built with Counterparty. It's built with Counterparty because it still works.
It is on the blockchain when you say it like that. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. We start building it in 2017, artolin.org, and it's got a counterparty wallet, and you can sell your rare pepes and other whatever you want, not just memes. You can make art and sell it there. The market is not that big in that ecosystem. Most of the market moved to Ethereum, and then it grew there. But we had our own token. The problem with that is that, well, I guess that you can always benefit from another token if you don't want to take the burden of creating your own token and trying. So it's definitely something very useful. I mean, mostly if you have like a big platform with with a lot of followers, you can introduce your token, and that's how governments.
Well, I mean that it's almost like getting a gift card, right? Like I could buy essentially a gift card for coin artists because I could buy some coin. And then I could hold that and then trade that coin for art, just like a gift card to a store for goods and services. It's a way for me as a customer or as a fan to invest or purchase art in advance.
Yeah, sure. And next year, I'm sure that this is like, I'm almost 100% certain that next year we're going to see that with big artists or big projects that doing their own, because people are already doing it now. As I said, we already did an experiment of that back in 2017. And now there are artists like Robness doing their own token to exchange for their art.
Yeah, so Vessa is doing the same thing. Vessa accepts Ether or he accepts Vessa, and he gives a discount on Vessa, which incentivizes people to take their Ethereum, buy Vessa, and use Vessa to buy his NFTs because of that discount. So he's actually incentivizing liquidity to come to him.
Sure. Yeah, and it's the logic of coupons, right?
Yeah.
So I issue my own currency, and that translated to how we nowadays operate in the traditional markets. I issue some coupons. Let's say I can create these coins and I can use them as coupons. So I am selling something in advance for a discount, but that way I'm monetizing my work in advance for my followers and my collectors. Yeah, we're going to see more and more of that. That's definitely, and there's so many cool use cases that people are not aware, but they're already happening. Like, for instance, I don't know if you know that you can drop the NFTs on the street like Pokemons. So
not exactly. What the fuck are you talking about?
I haven't seen that development on Ethereum yet, but a guy called Chris Moss, a couple of years ago, he developed an app called Takara, in where you can drop your counterparty NFTs on the street like a Pokemon, so someone else can come and pick it up with the right app.
They're using the geocaching to do like a drop
exactly. So that's already there. I mean, we haven't seen a mass adoption of that because no one's taking the time and resources to build it right now. But it's happening. Someone already built it. So we're gonna see that on Ethereum very soon, and on the next big platform for NFTs, we're going to see people picking up NFTs on the street, so you can drop them in the event that you're organizing to incentivize people to come.
Exactly.
Like you just imagine.
I do though, because when we were at BitBasil, that's what I was like. And when I was looking at all the art on the street, I was thinking, because as soon as you showed me the fucking Joe Rogan twerps come to life with the app, you know, we went outside and I saw all the art on like the wall and the sidewalk, and I'm like, well, yeah, why can't I just take out my phone and watch this come to life? And then I was thinking, you know, at the BitBasil event, how crazy would it be to do like a Pokemon Go kind of a thing where there's NFTs here, you have to show up, sweep it, you can get it from like, you know, an app, and kind of gamify that. And I had somebody on yesterday I was talking to, I think it was Joel and Travis actually, I mentioned this exact too, where I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of, you know, what corporations use to their advantage with like that customer service, like loyalty programs, rewards programs, things like that, gift cards, all that's going to be possible with NFTs and blockchain, and you'll be able to be fully self-sovereign, doing it yourself. You will be employing yourself with this technology.
Yeah, that talks about how early we are, because the amount of ideas and use cases that we have for NFTs is way more than the time we have to build them. It's not that we are just guessing. We already know very specific use cases that are going to go mainstream. But we just don't have the time and the resources to build them all. But someone will in the next few years.
With Atari getting into the game, bro, wait for Microsoft to feel FOMO. You know what I mean? Like, Atari is just starting to put their toe in the water. You think Microsoft or Sony are going to... Oh my God, that's so cute. I love it.
You can play Pac-Man.
I was going to say, is it functional?
Yeah.
Oh, what is this? An arcade for ants?
It's super fun. A friend of mine gave it to me yesterday.
So yeah,
So imagine something like this, but it's got a Bitcoin inside. So
I have actually done that. I've played arcade machines. There was a conference in San Francisco. The one actually, Edward Snowden called in and spoke at this Bitcoin event. And
we were there in Bitcoin 2019.
Yeah, dude, damn, I forgot. I've been to so many of these freaking things, dude. Holy crap. But there was the arcades up on the second floor, man. If you remember, they had the lightning thing, so you could actually you could pay with lightning and play the arcade machines.
Well, actually, I believe the guy that built that arcade is the same guy that I was talking about with drop NFTs like
that
Pokemon
makes
Go.
Sense. Okay.
He's called Chris Moss, and he's been developing apps for gamifying interactions. And one of those apps was a Street Fighter game, where every punch was a Satoshi that goes from one wallet to the other in real life.
Oh.
So you were gaining Satoshis while you were fighting on Street Fighter. Yeah,
that's like Rock'em Sock'em Satoshis.
Yeah. Oh, with the Lightning Network, you can do that stuff, like really microtransaction, and that's a goal, I believe.
A penny a punch. Oh shit.
A lot of people shit talk about the Lightning Network because
I'm one of them.
Yeah, no, and I understand that the amount of adoption that is getting compared to Ethereum is very low, but I believe it's really solid. If you see those use cases as games in where you can earn or gain Satoshis in real time, that's super powerful.
Yep.
And I don't see that happening in Ethereum, that like those microtransactions.
Dude,
I mean,
every time I look at Ethereum's fucking roadmap, it's like it looks like a Roos Goldberg machine or some shit, bro. It's like this is so convoluted and so far out. I thought Bitcoin was a Hail Mary. I'm like, dude, I love Ethereum. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm a realist. And being real, it's far out from mass adoption, way far out.
My friends, my crypto artist friends here in Mexico, they make fun of me because they say, like, compared to them, I'm like a Bitcoin max, you know. I'm not. I mean, definitely, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that the Bitcoin maximal is. Mostly the toxicity they have, and this idea that everything else is a scam, I think is just stupid.
That's the thing the NFT space doesn't have. We don't have toxicity in the NFT community, and we don't really have that, like, it's a scam, you know, trolling.
Yeah, we're getting there because there's always toxic people and there's always people that are always complaining. So I mean, but yeah, it's not so bad yet.
Right.
It will. The more people on board, the more of this crazy drama nonstop we will see. But I mean, my point was that they make fun of me because I'm still a little skeptical about Ethereum. But man, at the same time, like I get that Ethereum is like a very important blockchain.
Me too. I just think it's being misused. That's all. I think it's for the Fortune 500 companies, very, very wealthy use cases, but not so much for the average mom and pop shops. That's not who's going to be able to afford this is going to be a very rich kid club.
Yeah, no, and they like the foundation, they need to get their investment back at some point.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, it's not like Bitcoin, but this is definitely very important. I think like owning Ethereum is good. Like it's good. The price is gonna go up definitely. So I'm not saying that it's just a shitcoin, but it's got problems. And some people that just got into crypto this year, sometimes they don't have a comparison with a more open and decentralized blockchain in different aspects.
And you're pretty chain agnostic as far as an artist goes, right? You have tokens on art tokens on multiple blockchains, so it's not like you're a favoring one more than the other. I guess to kind of wrap things up, let people know where they could get your art, where they could get your NFTs, where you've contributed, and what they can hodl to get some of your swag.
Sure, I go online. I go by GG. So if you go to Rarible, you can look me up there. I recently started publishing on Super Rare. So I'm going to publish something, a new artwork next week. I want to try to create some FOMO on Twitter. And so, yeah, I also have a gallery in artolin.org. And very soon we are going to link those galleries of all the artists that have been tokenizing on Artolin and on Artist Liberation Front. We are going to make a link from ALF platform also to all these galleries so you can see our art. Let me talk just a little bit about ALF. ALF is a collaboration that I made with Johnny Dollar. It's an open source, free to use software to mint your own tokens on Ethereum, your ERC-721s. Hopefully we will have more variety of tokens soon. And you can go to alfwallet.com and mint your own NFT, and then you can sell it or give it away or do all of these things that we've been talking about with your NFT that is going to be stored on your MetaMask wallet. So that's a very interesting project. We are planning to making it grow next year. And I think people should check it out. And you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter as Gus Grillaska. And I always publish the links to my art. So yeah, check it out. I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, his Twitter handle is in the title above. So you guys can check him out on Twitter. Check out the Twitter handle in the title of the live stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys watching live. If you're still watching, please don't forget to share this out, let people know, and let me know what you think about this conversation in the comments below. Any topics that we didn't cover that you'd want to make sure I cover next time, and maybe we can get them back on to go over some things that we may not have had a chance to, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to NFTs right now. Dude, we didn't even touch on nesting, and that in its own is probably a fucking hour conversation, because NFT nesting, that's next level utility right there. I mean, I've been doing it. I've been buying NFTs, and it gives me a book PDF. I'm buying books by buying NFTs. Like, dude, I mean, if you guys can't comprehend this, like, dude, just fucking go with the FOMO. There is no do your own research anymore. You don't have time for that. There's no time. Ain't nobody got time to do their own research. Just throw money at some non-fungibles and just sit back and collect and hodl and be happy that you have something that only 1% of the people on this planet even are aware of right now.
That's a great slogan, man. Like, you don't have time to do your own research. Just follow me, trust me, and follow the FOMO.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
This is not financial advice. As always, have a day.
There are many different ways to buy Bitcoin, but the cheapest and fastest way to buy Bitcoin with cash is with a coin flip Bitcoin ATM. Coin flip ATMs allow anyone to buy Bitcoin with the lowest fees and within just a few steps. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm one of the hundreds of store owners who partner with CoinFlip. In this convenient store, we host a CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM. We earn passive income, more foot traffic, and we get free advertising done by the CoinFlip team. Getting the ATM was easy. We just contact the CoinFlip team at info@coinflip.tech, and they handle everything with no cost to the store owner. This includes installation, maintenance, marketing, and even 24/7 customer service. We just provide a small space within the store. To get your own CoinFlip Bitcoin ATM and join the monetary revolution, contact CoinFlip today. info@coinflip.tech, or fill out the form at request.coinflip.tech. 773-800-0106.